I'm Bobby.
I'm Nathan.
And this,
could be a podcast.
boom.
Goes the dynamite for America.
It's hard to have an original thought nowadays.
It's weird. So I watched Power or Powers.
What's that?
It's a new Netflix movie
Okay.
about Joseph Gordon-Levitt and what's his name? Guy who played Ray.
Jamie Foxx?
Jamie Foxx.
Okay.
Involving a world where you can take a pill and for 5 minutes you get superpowers.
Okay.
Anyhow,
Kind of like Limitless a little bit.
a little bit like Limitless.
Kind of going on to the, it's hard to have an original thought nowadays.
Right.
It's hard to have an original thought because of your access to looking it up if it's an original. Like,
Right.
I'd imagine that like long ago,
Yes.
not even that long ago,
Yeah.
people would go forever thinking that they had this original idea.
Crazy original idea.
That no one has, it versus now where you can look it up in a
And
second.
everybody's like, oh man, did you not hear about that Kurosawa film?
Yeah, exactly. Where you're like, oh, I had this great idea for X, Y, and Z. And they're like, oh no, that's totally been done. And to run into that person would be, it's a crapshoot versus you looking it up yourself,
That was I love that bit in Glow. Do you remember that?
Yeah, I
Where
remember Glow.
Mark Maron.
Yeah.
He's got a great idea of a script.
Right, yeah,
And
exactly.
it's just like, oh no, that's the plot of Back to the Future.
Right, that's a great example of what I'm talking
Right.
about. Like where he's living for years, it seems like.
Right,
That he's
right.
living in that world of, I had this great original idea.
I got this great original
As
idea.
soon as I really put myself, concentrate, if I get the funding for it or something like that, I'm going to make it really happen. And it's like, no, that was a movie that came out recently, like this year.
So as a child, I had the idea of my father being in the Navy, having some kind of scientific test being put upon him.
Okay.
In hopes to make him some kind of superhero. But it didn't take, nothing happened. However, it did pass to me genetically.
Through his semen.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, my father's.
Okay.
I'm not going to say it. Yeah, so something, passed down to me, and somehow, for some reason, it clicked with me. I always thought that was an interesting idea of what was seen as a failed experiment.
Right. Now that's not a bad original idea. Now where you go from it,
It was mentioned a little bit in this movie, in this Netflix movie.
in this Powers.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I'm like, oh, I kind of had that idea. I remember having that idea. And I was like, oh, well, that's okay.
I remember driving along when the internet was in its early stages of still CD-ROM hours, AOL hours and everything. I always remember driving, not driving because I wasn't old enough to drive, but being the passenger in the back seat, staring at the headrests of the driver and passenger seats and be like, man, if we could just put a monitor in there, if we could just put something that I can stare at there and I can be on the internet, or something I can at least watch.
Sure.
They had TVs, but it was even before I was exposed to it.
That was like a CRT. I remember like an Astro van.
Yeah, they'd have the drop down television in the middle.
Not even with plasma, not with a plasma or an LCD or something. It was like a full on CRT 9-inch monitor.
Yeah, just hanging from the roof of the car.
Yes,
Right.
yeah.
Versus now they have them built into
the
back of the headset.
Yeah.
And when I see this, I tell my younger brother a lot, you're living in a world.
You have no idea.
You have no idea the things the whole going to school virtually. I'm like, there were so many years or so many days where I'd wake up and be like, can we just have it on the television?
Please.
I'll just watch class from TV and I'll do all the work and everything. And now I get to do that. And ordering movies off Amazon. I know
movies off Amazon.
We've talked about that before, but
yeah,
those ideas were, obviously I'm a kid. I have no fucking idea how to make this happen. It just wouldn't be great.
Wouldn't it be great if this happened?
But it's those things that come to fruition, where I would rather have other things I actually wish for or wanted to have happen in my life. I'd rather those things be tangible and real versus just having televisions in the back of headrests on cars.
Right.
All the things you think about where you're like, oh, if I could have this happen, or TVs in the back of a driver's seat's car.
I'm all on board, man.
I'll take the other thing I was wishing for.
So there's a Cormac McCarthy's novel, The Road, the film adaptation starring Viggo Mortensen.
Mm-hmm.
There's a scene where it's post-apocalyptic.
I'm familiar.
Yeah.
Yep.
There's a scene where like they stumble upon a bunker
Mm-hmm.
that's been unused, and so they get all cleaned up and they take baths, and
Mm-hmm.
Viggo Mortensen's sitting there, and he's wearing a suit coat, and he's smoking a cigarette, and he does a French inhale,
Mm-hmm.
and like, and his kid's there, and that kid's known as all post-apocalyptic wasteland, and he says, "You look at me like I'm from another world."
Mm-hmm.
And I have that moment every so often with my children. It's just like, oh no, we had to do this. Like,
Yeah.
and especially growing up in a much more rural setting, it's just
Mhm.
like, oh yeah, we got to do this. We got to do this with a tractor. We got to, hey, let me explain a power takeoff
Mhm.
on a tractor for a minute. And they're like, what? I'm like, you're looking at me like I'm from another world.
And from another movie that they hadn't seen
Right,
a
no.
long time ago.
I love that movie.
But
I really love that movie.
But that's a thing, though, where when you're, especially how quickly like technology evolves now, like, and the way that things were. I mean, even referencing a Blockbuster, renting a movie, which is something that was so, for a short period of time, actually, I guess in the grand scheme of things, was a normal thing to do. But how foreign it would seem to somebody, probably like a 14-year-old, like would.
And we don't.
A 14-year-old, has any of your children ever rented a movie? Do you
like?
Do they remember renting a movie?
No. Like red boxes are there, like, but they're just a thing that's there.
Yeah.
There was a period of time.
Red boxes are a vending machine.
There was a period of time where there was like, we would be at like going through the checkout of the grocery store, and I just tell the kids, just go look at the red box for a little bit while I'm checking out. Leave me the fuck alone.
Yeah, but even that experience of like the red box versus going to the whatever your video rental store preference was, but going there was a whole process that was fun, exciting. It indicated like, first off, normally like the weekend. I mean, that's generally
sure,
but
everybody's working for it.
Yeah, but you'd go and I remember my parents would be like, all right, just go and find something. It wouldn't be stick around or anything like that, or stay by us. But it was always a really fun experience to like go and find something, pick it out, read the back of or basically look at the back of the movies and everything.
Yeah, in my 1,000-person small town, there was only gas stations.
Correct. Which is a different experience.
And that's what we'd rent from. There was I'm trying to remember, what was that? What was the movie? I'm trying to remember the name of the video rental place in Creston. And it's now, I think, an insurance sales
well, around here we had Family Video.
Yeah, Family Video, which I preferred.
Blockbuster.
I preferred Family Video.
It's a great place, a great movie rental place. We had Mr. Movies, which I worked at in college.
So where was Mr. Movies at?
That was in Iowa City and Coralville.
Oh, okay.
But that was one of my favorite jobs of all time, because back then when you worked at like a Blockbuster, in even a Hollywood Video, you had to play an endless loop of like trailers basically, and that's all you could play. So Family Video, I remember Family Video and Mr. Movies were the two places where you could play.
They just had movies on,
and you got to pick them as long as they were PG-13 or under. You got to pick them. So that was again like a kid in a candy store of like, oh, is there nobody here? Well, cool. We'll just figure out some movie to watch, and
now here's a
basically get paid to watch movies all fucking day.
Is that your favorite job ever? Compared to musician or real estate agent or video production schnob.
My favorite job.
Do you have a favorite job?
I have a list of favorite jobs. I have a list. Like I worked the VIP room at a casino for a while, and that job was again when you qualify like a favorite job, it's not like necessarily the work that you have to do. Sometimes it's a period of the work you don't have to do. Yeah. So at the VIP room, like it would be all the high rollers that would come in and they would just sit and watch TV. And then like you were kind of like their personal waiter and bartender and stuff. So, but again, we're a small small town relative to, big city or anything like that. So your high rollers that are coming in are maybe like, you may get like 15 people in an entire shift.
Sure.
Other than that, you have full access to the buffet. You have full access to, the non-alcoholic beverages in the.
You're just sitting there drinking
Coke, Mountain Dew and eating meatballs and everything, and
just eating
meatballs,
and
watching
drinking
TV.
Mountain Dew and watching TV.
And at that point in time,
I'm hearing a lot about your work ethic here. That's all I'm gonna say.
Well, as far as like favorite jobs go, I'm like this job was sweet when I was late high school, early college, and so there's multiple levels to this. So I was also good friends with my boss, who allowed me to log into his account on the computer and everything like that to gain internet access, because we were in the same fantasy baseball league. So he would let me log in under his name to like go and like surf the internet, because everything else was like restricted.
Locked down.
Yeah. So it was full access to the internet.
And you didn't have your BlackBerry on you.
It was before even Blackberries. I mean, I remember watching the Lazy Sunday SNL episode there. Yeah. So around that time, whatever that was. But
07?
Yeah.
08.
So still flip phones and everything like that. No.
Yeah, man.
So that was a great job. I mean, that thing. And the other great part about that job was that.
Why'd you quit? Did you get fired?
No, I didn't get fired. But you got amazing tips from the people that walked in. So you do like a little bit. You do just a little bit of getting them like buffet food, or making them one drink. And
Bobby, why don't you give me a Bloody Mary and some
here's
meatballs?
$20, and it's
no shit.
Yeah. It was that job. I also had a job in that same casino at Coat Check. Now that job was fucking bank. Like as a high school kid, I would probably I'd work Tuesdays and Wednesday nights till like 11 o'clock at night.
Sure.
And I'd probably walk out with like $200 to $400.
Whoa.
For those 2 nights. In tips alone.
Whoa.
Yeah. So as a high school kid, I was just like flush with cash.
Yeah.
And as far as high school kids go and everything like that, I'd have a job where I worked 2 nights a week, and just every fucking person that would bring a coat in, it's at least $1. And if they had a great night, you get more.
Yeah.
But if they get to know you and everything like that, so that job for monetarily, I mean, that was a great job. But
I'm glad I turned down that job at the casino.
What job did you turn down at the casino?
It was like the technical director for the Moon Bar.
Oh yeah?
Yeah. It was just like, it was right when they were just built a new casino. And I'm like, I'm kind of done driving 50 minutes each way into work. It's like, I'd just be running a theater. And then I was like, this is just going to be all nights.
Yeah.
This is going to be all nights. Yeah. There's no like ifs, ands, or buts. This is all nights.
Well, do you have a favorite job? Have you had a favorite job?
Oh, I don't know, man.
How many jobs have you had?
Well, not a lot. I mean,
I feel like I bumped around more jobs than you've.
Right. Let me go through them all. So, I occasionally would work with a farmhand as in hog confinements, and like
this doesn't sound like a fun job.
Before I had he'd come pick me up at 5 a.m.
That's a no for me, dog.
I had to help him move pigs around, and he'd vaccinate them.
On to the next one.
Oh no! Here's the deal about working in the hog confinement, and I'd have my job would I'd have literally a board with a piece of wood with 2 handles on top of it to help separate hogs.
Yeah.
And I thought it helped me so much as a linebacker. Just
yeah, I'm sure.
As far as anticipating
working
movement,
out with hogs.
Yeah, as more just seeing motion and anticipating movement and shuffling and moving and pushing. I thought that it was you'd get done and I'd work for 2 hours and the guy would give me $20. And as a 14-year-old, and I'd usually get a Dr. Pepper out of it too.
You should have applied to casino in a fucking Coat Check, man.
There was not a casino in my area. And I'm trying to remember when Lakeside opened up in Osceola. I don't remember. Anyhow. Anyway. So I did that. Worked as a farmhand for my friend, my friend Matt and his dad Bob, and that was easy because, I'd show up and we'd do like, hey, that was the place where I ruined the tractor.
Mm-hmm.
And, we'd show up and like, hey, Dad wants us to tear down this old shed.
But as far as like jobs, those seem like.
And then so that was summer.
Where's the first place you were employed and had to like apply to?
I don't know.
You don't remember your first job?
I mean, like, I guess probably working as a farmhand. And then,
No, but like your first
application. I worked as a day camp counselor.
Okay.
The summer after my
that's
senior
the job.
year.
You'd have to apply for that job.
And I don't remember.
How many jobs have you fucking applied to?
Not a lot.
Not a lot? I've applied to a lot of jobs.
Yeah, that was a great job. So that was like me and my good friend from high school, Bill, and we worked at a YMCA,
mm-hmm.
and we were basically just glorified babysitters.
Yeah.
And like through the course of the summer, like pool time got like extended. So it was great because it was like lunchtime. Okay, we're gonna sit down. We're gonna watch Powerpuff Girls,
mm-hmm.
and we'll eat lunch. That's our only TV time. And then we're gonna go to the pool. And it started off as like 45 minutes, and it like got extended to like an hour and a half because it's just like
mm-hmm.
this is time we don't have to schedule. So right. It's great.
Yeah, I know. I taught baseball for a few years through the city. I didn't enjoy that job at all.
Yeah.
Because again, when I go back to like, if I'm thinking about my favorite jobs, like the money is a factor
sure,
for it. I mean,
sure.
If I had to pick like between coat check and the VIP room, the VIP room produced less money than the coat check, but it was much more fun because I had access to more things.
Responsibility.
Yeah, and much more time just me watching television and everything. But like the ratio of money to time and effort to teach baseball over a couple summers, horrible, just ridiculous. So much so where, when the job is just not priced, the amount of money you're making, you can't hire anybody because it's not worth any logical person's.
Right. No one's really going to do it.
Right. I feel like that. I haven't had a lot of those jobs where I'm like, I'm not getting paid a lot. I worked at my first job in high school was at Walgreens, and I worked there.
Oh yeah. At the mall?
No, another location here in town. But I worked there. But again, like the money to time ratio seemed right. It seemed appropriate for. I think a job when you can leave a job and then you don't have to think about that job anymore. There's a value to that in people's lives, and especially as a kid, like that's what it is. Like I recently went into a Subway and a Subway, and the kid behind the counter was just kind of like, he was just super pissy. And I'm like, I get it, man. Like I had a buddy that worked at Subway. Like I had shitty jobs. Like I get it. Like these jobs suck. And I understand if you're in just a pissy mood, but I almost wanted to talk to him and be like, hey, what do you really want to do? Like, what do you want to do? Because
what are you missing out on right now?
Well, and it's like you're a 15, 16-year-old kid. Like this is the job you're supposed to have right now.
Right.
So, and I get it. I know I was a dick to some people at Walgreens because I just didn't want to be there and everything like that. I totally understand if he was just having a bad day.
Fucking asthma medication.
Yeah. Shit like that where you're like, but I almost want to talk to the kid and just be like, what do you really want to do? Because this is the stepping stone. These are the jobs that you need to have to appreciate when you actually get the job that you want to be doing some semblance of the thing. It's never perfect.
Yeah.
But, and the amount of people that like don't want to do that job at all, like that just feel like I just want to go from school to the dream job, and that's like that doesn't fucking exist, or it exists for a very few select people.
That's not a real thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, that's total nonsense.
Mm-hmm. But those jobs, I remember. Like,
I mean, those are where you can shut off. Yeah.
Yeah, and that's the other part about it. It's like you get to leave this job
and
you don't have to think about
it.
You don't have to make sandwiches at home.
Yeah.
No, this is a, burn out the clock situation.
I'm really running out of the clock here.
And, I don't know. I didn't say anything to him, but I could feel that vibe from him, and being like, look, I'm lucky enough to be in a situation where I enjoy what I do, and as a podcaster, and
it pays the bills.
Yeah, it pays the bills, but
yeah, I'd say probably one of the worst jobs I had was the summer between my freshman and sophomore year of college, where I worked as a housekeeper at college.
Ooh, yeah, that would not be fun.
Well, like starting at 5:30.
That's a no.
But then getting off at 2:30.
Yeah, still.
And I'm
no.
still stupid, and I'd like stay up until midnight.
God.
But here's the problem. Unbeknownst to me, so I lived with my sister that summer,
mm-hmm.
and I did not know that my sister's roommate, who I also lived with, was also working the same job as me.
Oh, really?
And I didn't particularly like that person. So like first day, it's like, okay, hey, you need to be here at this building at 5:30. Okay. All right. I'm there. Took my bike, rode there, got there. And it's just like, and then all of a sudden she showed up. I'm like, pardon? We're going to be living and working together.
You're basically in a relationship with this person
for the entire summer.
Mm-hmm.
And he's like, oh, hey, are you going to ride your bike tomorrow? Or are you going to walk with me like a normal person? It's just like, oh, so we have to walk together.
Now I have to spend even more time with
Now
you.
it's like we have to walk together. We have to live together.
Mm-hmm.
We have to work together. And I was just like, I'm like, what? This is awful.
I don't enjoy this at all.
It was rough.
Worst job you ever had then?
I think so.
Yeah.
I'm
trying to go through and think about the worst job
so.
I ever had, and I don't know. I can think about jobs that weren't like I didn't enjoy Walgreens, but I enjoyed the people that I worked with.
Sure.
And
yeah.
And then when I got into the restaurant industry and everything like that, when I started just being a bartender waiter at places, there were places that weren't as fun as the other places, but it was not necessarily a job. I remember I worked at a marina for one summer. That was bad. Dealing with drunken boat people.
You got a problem with, is that where your hatred of boat people comes from?
No, because I want to be a boat person. I just don't want to be the
obnoxious drunken boat person. But
yeah,
I think you do.
No, I don't. No,
you don't want to be an obnoxious drunken boat person.
I don't want to be an obnoxious drunken boat person.
I misread you, Bobby. I'm sorry.
Yeah, you've misread.
I'm gonna have to
because there's a weird world that gets married with boat life where it's money and then alcohol, and then how you're dealing with people goes out the window, and so you get drunk people coming off the river.
Rich drunk people are the worst.
Oh yeah, I mean we can agree, right?
I don't know.
You don't know? You haven't had to deal with a lot of rich drunk people?
No.
And then there's also like the fallacy of being rich and like a perception that people have.
I mean, you got a boat.
So yeah, so now you gotta walk in big dick swinging kind of thing. And those kind of people where you're like, you're a fucking fraud. We all know it, but you're just a blowhard.
But you got a boat.
And like, this is your little kingdom. Like you get to like kind of rule this roost, you know?
I am a captain.
Yeah.
I don't know if you know that. Right. I am a captain.
This is, my vessel I got off of.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
This is mine.
Yeah.
That's a shitty pontoon, Bill. What the fuck are you talking about?
But that job, I mean, that was more, that might have been the worst job I ever had because the bosses would watch you through a video camera during your shift. Oof. So they would call you. They would call if like someone wasn't waited on quick enough, or if there was people waiting at the bar or anything like that. They would call you and be like, "You need to do this." And
I mean, it's one thing if you're like obviously ignoring them. I'm obviously ignoring them. You call, but if it's like I've served 10 drinks.
That was a job too. That was a restaurant situation where you're the bartender, waiter, and cook at the same time.
Oof.
So it's a situation where if you get slammed, I remember I got a call. I got slammed. It was me and another guy that were there. And we just got
dropping fries.
We got just ass fucked basically. And it was,
yeah.
And then they're sitting there on their, like literally on their boat, 20 yards away, watching this video feed from the bar.
Ugh.
And they call us at the end of it. They're like, you guys got to do better. Like, what the hell's going on there? You guys got to get these people. These people are waiting and everything like that. And it's like, we're 2 people. We just got like 40 people that came in, and we tried to do our best to get everyone served in a timely manner. But,
right.
But yeah, that was maybe the worst, but not that bad.
I mean, I feel like I have found aspects of my job that I've enjoyed, like with all the jobs I've had. I've had very few jobs where I'm like, well, this is a complete waste. I'd say probably maybe my unpaid internship, but
but that's you're generally building towards something, you know?
Right. Well, I mean, the idea that I had to travel an hour and a half to have an interview for an unpaid internship just made me really angry.
Yeah. I'm just turning my head around. That's all I want to do.
Just turning your head around.
It's getting it weird. But yeah, so like people, I like not liking aspects of your job, I think is inherent to any profession,
sure.
right?
Sure.
Where that's where it comes down to the people that you're working with. I think that's because I remember like my Walgreens job was monotonous. It was like, it sucked, but I enjoyed
Stocking shelves.
Stocking shelves is one of the fun parts, actually.
Oh yeah.
It was working checkout was really bad, but the people that I worked with were fun. Like we started a fight club at Walgreens. Did I ever tell you about that?
Like just slapping each other or what?
No, like we had a legit, like when we closed down the Walgreens, like when we were closing, and it was me and another kid that just started there, and we both had long hair, and our boss was like, I think you guys should fight each other. I'm like,
just out of the blue.
Out of the blue.
I think you guys should just.
And he kept like fucking just, it was like weeks before anything happened. So he kept saying like, I think you guys should fight each other. You guys gonna fight tonight? You guys gonna fight tonight? And like it got to the point where like, all right, well, let's fucking do this. Like I didn't not like the kid at all. Like he was a nice kid and everything like that. It was just like, yeah, all right. Fight Club was on the brain of everybody. And we're like, we're just gonna fight. So we get done cashing out all the registers and everything like that lock the doors. Yeah. And then we're going to fight. So we started fighting.
We just started fighting.
And my boss from the like the office was on the intercom, like narrating the fight, calling the fight and everything like that. No real punches were ever thrown. Cause again, we didn't hate each other. So we were like, I don't know the fuck. This is so weird. But I remember Gangs New York had come out.
Yeah.
And the fish hook, so I got him into a fish hook.
You fish hooked.
I fish hooked him, and I don't know if that was a decision or not, but it was basically I got him into that, and I don't know if there was any decision. I can't remember if there was a decision, but we did it a couple other times. Not me, but like we had other people fight other people and stuff after Walgreens after hours, Fight Club and everything. But that made that job much more tolerable because I had fun people I was working with.
That's fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, that reminds me. So freshman year of college in the all men's dorm, and one kid on the floor had 2 sets of boxing gloves. Mm-hmm. And it was pretty early in the year. And like, all right, guys, hey, we're doing boxing in the hallway. And, guys would just, narrow hallway. I mean, it's like 6 foot wide. And you're like, okay, all right, guys, who's fighting who? Okay. And there was one night, and I'm like, hey, okay, all right, I'll fight.
I'll do this.
Yeah, let's do this. Fought one kid, kind of, like a kid that I was friends with, and I'm like, kind of beat him up a little bit, and I'm like, all right, okay, all right.
I see what this whole thing is about.
All right, a couple other guys fight. I'll go again. Why not? And then fought another kid, and kind of roughed him up a little bit.
Are you 2-0 at this point?
I'm I would say that I'm pretty good 2-0.
Okay.
And then I'm like, got done fighting him. I'm like, knocked him down a couple of times. I'm like, all right, yeah, all right, I'm pumped. Like,
I'm a boxer.
I am, yeah. I wrestled in high school. I know what's up.
Those juices are flowing.
Yeah, it's like, all right, I'm ready to go right now. Mm-hmm. Who's ready to get? And this one kid, real meathead. Yeah, I'll fight you. It's just and real meathead motherfucker, and just like, I'm like, oh, I'm just gonna get my ass fucking just beat. I mean, he probably had 20 pounds on me of just pure muscle. He was a football player, and you
were getting too cocky.
He just pummeled the fuck out of me. It just like, I had a black eye. Like my kidneys were sore, and I remember I think I might even piss a little bit of blood, and I'm like,
no way.
And I'm like, I remember my kidneys like, oh my god, what the?
Is that the only time you've been beat up?
Yeah, because I've never gotten into a fight. Like, never. I've never like thrown a punch out of anger or anything. You know, there's been a couple times where like it's like
you need to do it if
like we're like
you're ready. You're getting yourself geared up.
Like we're really close to like. I'm like, I'm not fucking doing this. Fuck
Right.
this. It's fucking stupid.
I was only in one fight, like in middle school. You know, it was a weird fight. I've never landed a punch. That's one of my big life things. Like I've never landed a punch.
Sure.
In a fight. And do you ever have dreams? I have dreams where like I'm not landing punches in a fight. That I'm like, I have no idea why this is happening, but like I'm fighting somebody and I can't land a punch.
And you're just
like,
hitting ghosts.
Yeah, and that's my only fight experience has been that, like where we got into a fight, I throwing punches and he's moving every time. I never just connected or anything like that. Really? We became best friends for quite a while after that, but as you do with most fights. But yeah, I have a reoccurring dream where I'm throwing punches and I cannot
land one.
Yeah, and I wake up and I'm like,
that's so frustrating.
It is.
That's got to be frustrating. I've never thrown a punch.
Do you have reoccurring dreams?
Do I have I mean, outside of losing my teeth, which I haven't had that one, which I'm glad.
That's a financial thing.
That's a financial thing. I haven't had one of those in a long time.
Mm-hmm.
And for me, like that dream is always like, I'm like, oh, what's going on with my teeth? And then I literally reach into my mouth and just fucking pull out a tooth.
Mm-hmm.
No, I haven't had a recurring dream.
No.
And that's fine by me. I enjoy dreaming.
Yeah.
I think, it's not nearly as like cinematic, and it's always like so much. I love waking up. Just like, I love how our brains like make a connections. Like that was my brother. I know he's my brother, but he's not my, like, I wake up, I'm like, clearly that's not my brother. But I know in my dream, this is my brother. I know who he is. And I have a long history relationship with this person who I've never had a long. Same thing. Like I'm in a building that I know it's not a building. It happened to me the other night. It was like Christine and I went to go watch a show at the theater on campus.
Christine's your wife.
Christine's my wife. And we went to go watch a show in the theater on campus. I'm like, oh, this kind of sucks. Hey, let's go backstage for a little bit. And went backstage and talked to the director of the theater for a little bit. And then like it was like during the middle of a song, Christine just walked through the backstage door. I mean, the side door from backstage and just walked. I'm like, I was going to wait until the between songs before I did that. And she just didn't. And like this setup of the theater is not anything close. I love that. I love how our brains just fill in these large gaps.
I like how it's a really extraordinary experience that we all share that, it's one of the weirder things in human existence.
It's very weird
that we go to sleep and then we fantasize or
our brains
create these
worlds.
Yeah. And we're just like, oh, well, that was Tuesday, and we're, and cause that's where going into like what dreams mean or anything like that. I do think there has to be something about dreams, whether they are connected or not. Like it's kind of like interviewing a cat to like figure out what a cat's thinking. Like,
sure.
I can totally admit that.
Yeah.
Like it's not an exact science, but it's a weird thing that we all share that it has to, and it's so weird that if it didn't have a meaning to it, it would be just even more bonkers than it currently is.
I don't remember like where I heard this. I can't remember. But I like it. So I latched onto it.
Okay.
That's just kind of what I do. So a majority of our dreams are negative. We have negative dreams.
Worries.
Where it makes us feel bad. We don't feel bad. We're in trouble. Like just that example. My wife went and it was an embarrassing situation. Right.
Mm-hmm.
And that is our weird way of our subconscious preparing ourselves for bad things. How many times have you've had somebody die on you, or somebody say I don't like you, that kind of thing. So,
in a dream?
In a dream.
Oh, very rarely. But anyway.
Anyhow.
Yeah.
So it's a way for our, we get to feel those emotions in a fairly safe scenario. And so the next time it happens in real life, we felt these feelings before, so they're not entirely new feelings.
Mm-hmm.
So we know what they are, we understand them, and we can kind of grasp and wrap our head around them. And they're not just like, oh my God, why am I? I'm totally shocked. I don't know how to. This is the first time I've ever felt this feeling of,
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
No, I think you're right. Like,
I remember distinctly one time as a child having a dream where I was sitting on a curb in a bank drive-through, and my mom telling me, "I don't love you, and I'm not going to be your mom anymore."
oh, fun.
And walking off,
Cool.
and just like utterly, just fucking devastating me.
Uh-huh.
And it's like, well, I mean, that's never going to happen.
Is that why you don't go through drive-through ATMs?
I don't go through drive-through ATMs because I don't believe in ATMs. I do use the drive-through. I talk to the teller.
Oh.
That's the key.
You just need that reaffirmation that your mom's not going to leave you.
See that affirmation, and it was just like, oh man, this is just like,
Mm-hmm.
and it's just like, whoa, what? I mean, and it emotionally just beat the fuck. I remember like,
Yeah.
I mean, I was probably 6, and I remember having a dream of like telling my dad to fuck off. That's right, Dad. Fuck off.
Mm-hmm.
And that was a dream I had. I've never told my dad to fuck off. I've never been,
Well, now you have.
well, right. But I'm generally, I have I would say a fairly good relationship with my father,
Mm-hmm.
But
The malice is not
yeah,
there.
there's not like me being angry at my dad on like, I think it was supposed to be like Christmas morning or something.
But it is those things though. They do hold meaning, like whatever the meaning is. However you can get to it, like
Sure.
like the thing with like the teeth and financial stuff. Like if I'm looking back at the times when I've lost teeth in a dream, it's
Yeah.
been that a more like tangible representation. I'll have a dream where I have to go to the bathroom in the dream. And I'm like, I'm doing other things. I'm like, hold on one second. I just got to go to the bathroom. And then it's like this, mass, just epic journey to go to the bathroom. And it's never enough. Like I
Right.
can never go to the bathroom enough. And then waking up, I'm like, oh, I need to take a
need to
piss.
go to the
That's why that dream was happening the way it was, is because,
Right.
so, that's a much more tangible example of like,
Sure.
I'm having this dream because I need to physically go to the bathroom, and my subconscious is telling me you need to go to the bathroom.
Dreams are super weird, man. I don't know. As soon as we can record our dreams, and hopefully we can,
Mm-hmm.
I'd love to. I mean, if I could sit there and, I think I'd probably come up with some really great ideas.
I've had dreams where I'm like, because there's always that old trope of like telling somebody else about your dream.
Nobody gives a fuck about your dream.
Yeah,
Nobody gives
it's like
a fuck
me
about
showing
your
you
dream.
pictures of my children. Like no one cares outside
I'd
of.
say your vacation.
Yeah, my
Like,
vacation.
It's
Yeah.
a vacation.
I don't have
Nobody
kids, so.
cares about the pictures of your vacation.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
you went there. That's nice.
That's
Thank
really
you.
cool.
You're sharing that with me now. Thanks. It's great.
Right next to it is telling people about their dreams. But
I think
there are some dreams that are like, fuck, that was a whole thing, and I experienced it. Like I always find the dreams that when you wake up and then you go back and you go right back into that dream. Those are the ones that have a lot of meat on that bone.
Have you ever had a thought like that's just like stuck in you like a little bit too much in that dreamscape? Like where it's just like, I'm done. I'm done with it. I remember one time like having the thought about prison volleyball as a concept, and it would not leave me alone for fucking 5 hours.
Gotcha.
And it's just like, hey, what about prison volleyball? Like, it's like, I'm done. I'm done with you as a concept. Shut up. I'm done. I want to move on to the next thing.
Mm-hmm.
Has that ever happened to you?
Not to the point of like to the point of that where it's incessant, kind of like where it doesn't leave you alone.
Right.
I can't think off the top of my head.
I'm falling asleep. I'm falling asleep,
Mm-hmm.
and I keep coming back to the same thought, and it's just like, shut the fuck up.
Yeah, there's a handful of things I like to think about when I'm going to bed.
Yeah.
Normally, I'm not in a state where I can't go to bed. Where
Mm-hmm.
you're like your mind's racing or anything like that. If I can focus on a couple things, like I'll focus on like a golf swing. Like if I think about just like swinging a golf club.
Weird.
I know it's weird, but I'll go
that's
right
weird.
to bed. I'll go right to bed if I'm like swing.
Yeah.
If I swing a golf club like that, and like all of a sudden I'm
That's
asleep.
weird.
Yeah, but
That's interesting.
But there's a number of those things. I used to for writing lyrics, for when I was writing music and everything like that, what I would do is I'd wake up really early in the morning, like 6, 7 o'clock.
Oh yeah, that's really early.
That for me, that's really fucking early. I'm of the belief that Bruce Springsteen, when he said that no decent musician is up before noon, I took that to heart. Then
I never took anything Bruce Springsteen took to heart.
Oh, really? No. But anyway.
Till this day. I mean, that guy could come out and just recite like a brand new Magna Carta, and I'd say, fuck off, Bruce.
Wow. No, you want Bruce Springsteen in your corner. That guy's got friends.
Is he connected?
He's probably connected.
To the Illuminati?
No, to the mob, probably.
Oh.
Someone had to finance those records. Anyway, so...
wasn't the American public, I'll tell you that.
So what I would do is I'd wake up like 6, 7 in the morning.
Okay.
I'd get coffee, I'd make coffee, and then I'd smoke some weed. And
really start your day.
Really start my day. And this is all before I had to go to work at like 11 for like the lunch shift or something like that. So I'd write music until like in kind of like a dreamscape kind of thing where I would just be not fully awake, but like creative enough where I can just do whatever I want. And kind of like it's flowing through you, if you will.
Sure.
I want to be artistic. But then when I'd have to think of lyrics and everything with that, I would go down and I would lie back in my bed and I'd close my eyes, and having the song in my head, that's when I would come up with the lyrics. I would think of the melody and everything like that. And it's amazing how like you kind of have like dreams that if you wake up quickly enough and you can write them down, I've thought of a lot of lyrics that way with that process and everything, instead of just staring at a notepad trying to figure out how to write lyrics and stuff.
Yeah. And that's why
using dreams as a tool. Using sleep as a tool to be creative. Because there's a lot of those things where, Keith Richards says he woke up from sleeping and he had the riff for Satisfaction in his head. And then Paul McCartney waking up with Yesterday.
Yeah. I believe, there's
a lot of that.
There's some kind of weird like connection to like being asleep, and then just like, I do think that there is some kind of weird thing that moves through our body that radiates like ideas, where it just like all of a sudden will pop to you and it'll just come to you. And I think that's very weird.
Well, and going back to like intention. So like if you're going to sleep with something in your head, or if you're
prison volleyball,
exactly. Might be a show title. Who knows?
Just shut the fuck up. Just like, I get it. They're playing volleyball. They're prisoners. I get it. There's not anything more to this. Shut up.
But if you go to bed with an intention, like it's probably more likely to represent itself in some way, shape, or form.
Oh yeah.
In your subconscious dreamscape,
some kind of lucidness.
Yeah. So if I'm trying to think of, especially when you're writing a song, you're listening to it 1,000 times. Like as you're developing it, as you're listening to it, adding other parts, like you hear it a lot. So it's in your head more so than any like earworm that's already in your head.
Yeah.
Like when you have a song stuck in your head, do you ever wake up with a song stuck in your head?
Yeah. What was it? Tacos.
Tacos, Little Big.
By Little Big. That was in my head.
Yep.
What else was there? There was another one that was in my head not too long ago. Another Little Big song. It's like, oh, geez, really?
Sticking on the Eurovision track, I've woken up with Double Trouble in my head a lot.
I have woken up with Double Trouble in my head. Yes.
I don't listen to that fucking song, but
but it's good.
It's good, but I'm waking up. It's weird when I wake up. I'm like, what happened? Girls on Film. Duran Duran's Girls on Film. I woke up this morning with Duran Duran's Girls on Film stuck in my head. I have not heard that song in
That's fucking weird.
Fucking years.
That's awesome.
And I'm just like, Girls on Film.
That's what your brain decided to recall.
Yeah.
To come up from the bubbling ether of your brain.
Yeah.
That's what it's like. How about this one?
You need some more Duran Duran.
You need more Duran Duran in your life. I've a little bit. I've been talking in my sleep a little bit more.
Oh yeah?
Yeah, which is like, it's weird. Like, I'm pretty sure I muttered out loud, just too many projects going on. Like, I had too many things just happening. I'm trying to like work on too many things. I'm like, I remember one time, like, I said, I'm the king at Potatoville. And like, this was back in college. And then like my girlfriend who was with me at the time, she's like, hold on. I'm like, hold on. I said I'm the king of Potatoville, but in actuality, I'm the mayor of Potatoville. Just I want to make that 100% clear.
Were you still sleeping at this point?
No, like I like it woke me up. However, like I recognize that I was in fact wrong in my dream.
You were not the king.
I'm not the king. I'm just the mayor. So that's something to just I understand. I'm in the wrong here, and I knew I was in the wrong. Like I knew that. Like that was me. My brain knew and understood that what I said was wrong, and in fact, I was in fact the mayor of Potatoville.
But does Potatoville have a king? That's the question.
I don't know. It doesn't.
No, and that's why it was wrong.
This is a fully formed
This is a
democracy through and through.
Yeah.
Of Potatoville. And I couldn't. And here's the crazy thing: I couldn't tell you a single fucking thing about my dream, that what happened before. Like I just muttered something.
Have you ever sleptwalked?
No, or at least
I think
maybe drunk.
I've done it
I
once.
think maybe drunk. I think I remember like one time, like my girlfriend once again in college, saying, "Hey, I had to yell at you not to piss in the garbage can in the corner the other night."
Oh, you've been there. Okay, cool.
It's just like
sometimes
I think I kind of I think I know what you're talking about.
I think I remember waking up and needing to go to the bathroom. I did it once. I did it. I've done it twice that I can think of, and the first time was
it
not
might have been another time. I
corroborated, but I remember in college being drunk, and our one bathroom was attached to the kitchen, and I think we had like this really bad shag carpeting in the living room area leading into the kitchen, and I got up in the middle of the night, and I was pissing in the corner. That's basically what I was doing. I don't remember doing it. Just a little tiny flashbacks, maybe a little bit. I remember my friends telling me, but my roommates, it was never cleaned up or brought up or anything like that. So I can never remember if it actually happened or not.
It happened. I'm just letting you know right now.
It happened.
It happened.
Then I had the best roommates in the world who like cleaned it up apparently, or we just let it soak
let it go.
Soak into the shag carpeting.
It's the latter for sure.
But that was one.
I'm not cleaning up Bobby Smith's. Are you kidding me?
Yeah. Well, and we had a good enough relationship. You could tell me if I piss in the corner and I have to get the carpets cleaned or something. That's on me. I can totally do that.
That's on me.
That's on me. Yeah. I'll take care of this one. That's fine. That's not crazy. And then there's another time I woke up in our living room and I was like, how the fuck did I get down here? Like I don't remember. And like I had been drinking a little bit, but not crazy to the point of like not remembering walking downstairs and going to bed on the living room. But anyway.
Yeah, sleepwalking
that one scared me more because there wasn't as many variables that would lead to it. Like I'm drunk in college.
Yeah.
I understand pissing in a corner.
Yeah. I think that's a lot. I think that's a lot of people. I do think that happens a lot more.
For just being drunk, or
just drunk dudes just pissing in the corner.
Because in your mind, if like it's little snapshots of remembering, doing it in the rationale of like I'm in the bathroom. I remember like being like, oh, I'm clearly comfortable enough to pee again. Because again, going back to like the dreams I have where I'm like, I need to go to the bathroom, and it's like multiple stops. It's like 5 different stops of like, oh, I need to pee. I still need to pee. Yeah. There's no pee that's happening. And then it's when I wake up, I'm like, oh, I need to piss like a racehorse. But if I was in that drunken state, I was comfortable enough to be like,
sure,
this is the bathroom, okay. And
this works.
I'm going to do this.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, it's a
weird thing.
That's a weird thing.
In that same apartment, I had a roommate who was out partying one night, and he was just going to come back at some point in time. And my girlfriend at the time was staying with me, and we had my room and I, we shared a room, and then we had 2 other roommates that had their own rooms and everything. So my girlfriend at the time was sleeping on the couch, on the couch of the room. It wasn't a fight or anything like that. It was just
come on.
She was in town and she was sleeping on the couch. Mainly probably because I was sleeping on like a twin mattress on a
What's that got to do with anything?
Anyway. we weren't fighting, which was the thing.
Hold on, you shared a loft?
Well, I had a loft, and then my other roommate had a loft as well.
Oh, okay.
So I don't know. I forget why she was sleeping on the couch.
Okay.
But at one point,
it's on you though.
No.
It's
You know what?
problem.
It's reversed actually. Now that I'm thinking about it, I was sleeping on the couch. She was sleeping in my bed because I'm a gentleman. That's what it was. And at one point in time, I hear the door open up, and I'm like, "Oh, that must be my roommate." I go back to bed. I wake up in the morning. The door is like open still, and then my roommate comes home in the morning, and I'm like, "Hey, didn't you come home last night?" He's like, "No, I'm just getting in." I'm like, oh, "Okay, cool," and I don't think anything of it. He goes in, and this is still when DVDs were worth something, you know.
Sure.
All of his like 200 DVD collection was gone, and I had like some money on the counter that was gone, and so he's like, "What'd you guys do with my DVDs? What'd you do with my DVDs?" I'm like, "I didn't do anything with your DVDs." He's like, "No, seriously, stop," because we'd fuck with each other all the time. And,
hiding DVDs.
well, pranks of some sort.
Classic.
And so it got to the point I'm like, I didn't fucking steal your DVDs, man, or I didn't move your DVDs. Also, when I woke up this morning, the door was open. And so it came down. Someone walked into our apartment in the middle of the night and just
Took all your DVDs.
took all the DVDs that we had, stole the money from my desk and everything like that was on
Tin
there.
cup gone.
Gone. But it was a weird like invasion of privacy. It's like, this is terrifying. This is like have you ever had
Life in the big city? No.
nothing?
Never.
That was the closest thing I ever got to it. And it was scary because I remember seeing figures walking in. I remember because I thought it was my roommate, and I'm sleeping right next to the door. Ooh. I wake up and I'm like, "Oh, Sam, I go back to bed." But if I would have realized it was more than one person, or
not shadow people.
Yeah, it was a weird. After the fact had happened, after we figured out what was going on, I was like,
some stranger watched you sleep.
Yeah,
and it gets him off to this day.
Until this day, friend of the show.
It's like, I got those guys. Mm-hmm. It's the only thing that's keeping me going right now.
Yeah, but anyway, it was a weird experience.
No,
you've never been broken into, vandalized at all?
No, my car parked at my in-laws' house, and I was at my house, and I kept it there one night. Mm-hmm. Somebody went in there and took a crescent wrench.
Okay,
and that was about it. Because there was nothing of value in my car because...
Well, that's another reason not to have anything of value in your car.
Well, yeah, not a bunch of DVDs. Tin Cop, just gone.
Yeah. I think Magnolia was in there.
I like Magnolia.
I know it was. I'm being serious as the movies he had. He also liked, God, what was the fucking movie? There's Barton Fink, right?
Yeah.
That was one.
It
was an eclectic movie collection.
What's his name, brothers? What's their names?
Yeah, the Coen brothers.
Yeah, Barton Fink with
John Turturro.
John Turturro. I love John Turturro.
Oh God, and there was a Western that he had. There was little bits.
Western, huh?
There was a Western in there. Jeremiah,
not Jeremiah Weed.
Jeremiah
Jones, no.
Something like that.
Jeremiah.
I'll look it up.
It might just be Jeremiah.
He loved that movie in a way that he probably shouldn't have.
Oh yeah. Do you have a favorite Western?
I hate Westerns so much.
Why do you hate Westerns? I think it's an interesting genre. I think it's a fascinating genre.
If I had to pick a favorite Western, I guess I'll go Django Unchained. Jeremiah Johnson.
Jeremiah Johnson, not Jones. That's another
That's
dude.
what he wants. Yeah.
And who is that? That's fucking Sidney Pollack and Robert Redford. Mm-hmm. Son of a bitch.
Yeah. So that was stolen that night.
Yeah, that was that was when Robert Redford was a shitty survivalist.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
He would show me this movie a lot, just put it on. It was kind of a revenge.
Check this out.
Yeah, it was kind of a revenge because what I would do,
just put on Clerks. No, not Clerks. Mallrats all the time.
Well, when we were writing riffs and everything or songs and everything on my guitar, I'd be in headphone world, but I always still to this day I'd need something else on.
Yeah,
just to kind of zone out to. And I would put on Comedy Central, and it would be Mad TV, blocks and blocks of Mad TV, and that's all it would be. So I wouldn't listen to it, but he'd walk in and be like, "Fuck fucking Mad
Mad
TV.
TV.
Like, good fucking God. And I'm like, put on whatever you want, man. But he would never do it. And but he would give me so much shit for watching Mad TV. I'm like, I'm not watching Mad TV. I'm
It's
like
just
writing.
there.
It's there. It's something
there.
I can zone out to. So when Stewart comes on and says no, like,
I'm just a big fan of Will Sasso. Okay, just shut
Will
up.
Sasso is an American treasure.
He's an American treasure. Hold on, I got to get this lick down.
Yeah.
I like westerns. I think westerns are. It's an interesting genre.
Do you have a favorite Western?
Oh, I don't know. Tom Horn, maybe.
Tom Horn.
Tom Horn.
Again, not familiar with the genre really. It's mainly because I hate Clint Eastwood so much. I don't mind John Wayne, but I don't like him either.
Unforgiven is fucking solid.
I would
do yourself a favor.
No, I've seen Unforgiven.
Rewatch Unforgiven as an adult. That was a movie that we watched as a kid in the theater.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was like every so often my mom was just like, we're watching this movie.
Well, that's because your mom, and I don't know her personally, but
you don't know my mom personally.
No, but I feel like there's ladies of that age who are like, okay, no, I think this man is attractive, and I want to see this movie no matter what the
I think that
moral value is.
That might have been it with Last of the Mohicans.
Yeah, I just need Daniel Day-Lewis here.
I just need this Dan, and I enjoyed. I could go back. It's been a couple of years since I've rewatched Last of the Mohicans, but.
Did I tell you about the $7 VHS collector's edition of Last of the Mohicans I found on Facebook Marketplace?
Today?
No, just...
God.
But someone is selling, not a lot, not like a whole collection of VHSs.
This is a onesie
Specifically, they've been holding on to Last of the Mohicans collector's edition. And they're like, I'm going to sell $7. They want $7.
That means I have to get a VHS. I mean, I have a VHS player.
No, that means you have to go and pay $7 to pick it up from somebody at a location. Like, it's not... It's not worth it.
It's a good movie.
Yeah, but I can go into my television and rent it, buy it. I can do all those things.
I remember I was like in charge of watching my nieces, like as they were like 3 and 2, and
put on Last of the Mohicans.
And I'm like, Last of the Mohicans. I like that movie, and putting it on, and not realizing I've got a problem of, and maybe this goes back to my mother, of like we're gonna watch movies that just probably are not appropriate to have like a 3-year-old around. Last of the Mohicans probably is one of them. And I'm like, hey, just finished watching Last of the Mohicans. Hey, check this out, sister-in-law. I'm gonna pound out the main theme as it's like the credits are rolling on like their bullshit little kiddie piano. And I'm like, yeah, check this out. And she's like, oh, you watched Last of the Mohicans? I'm like, yep. Don't mind me. I'm just a 16-year-old kid.
Don't worry. I remember. I remember movies that were shown to me by uncles and stuff that were like I shouldn't have been shown. I remember watching. Well, I remember my mom actually wanted to watch Legends of the Fall when I was when did Legends of the Fall come out?
That was 94.
94. So I was at best 90, or I was at best like 9.
Maybe 95. Maybe 95.
We'll get exact 94.
Fucking 94, man.
94. You're really good at that. Don't worry. But we watched
I'll take
this movie.
movies I've never seen for 100, Alex.
So I saw this movie as a 9-year-old.
Sure.
Probably shouldn't have. Haven't watched it since, but there's some like really gruesome scenes of, I think someone gets tangled with barbed wire or something like that.
Oh, yeah.
Again, stuff that a 9-year-old probably shouldn't be seeing.
Yeah.
Yeah. I've never watched it since. It's a weird, like it's lasted with me that long.
That's interesting. Yeah, no, I mean, being the youngest of 6, and my older brothers were much older, it's like, hey, we're watching Bloodsport. Fuck off.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, hey, all right, I'm enjoying this. This is good. So it's like, I feel like I'm the, poster child of like media influencing people to, I have not become like some kind of ravenous murderer because of I've watched
those things,
being exposed to violent media as a child, as like a far too young child.
It's weird moments because again, like I've said it before on the podcast, but like I was basically raised by television.
Sure.
Like that was the babysitter. That movies and television were the thing to pass time. But being exposed to, it's just like the first time that you're exposed to, the first time that Band-Aid's ripped off. Like we talked about it, the first time you see boobs in a movie or something like that. Or the first time you see like grotesque violence or, a rated R movie that's like, it's less language. It's more visual.
It's violence.
Yeah. Violence and gore and everything like that. But that was, the being desensitized to the content happens very quickly.
Right.
I remember there were times. Have we talked about me watching Friday the 13th at my grandmother's house?
I think you mentioned it.
Yeah.
It was always like anytime it was more like spooky basement.
Yeah. That was kind of the situation of spooky
basement.
Mixed with a Friday the 13th marathon on Friday the 13th.
Was this on a console television, by the way?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
God, I love console TVs.
Oh, man.
And that's.
And it's me by myself. It was
me by myself with a console TV watching Friday the 13th in my grandma's basement.
Yep.
Don't stop me now.
It's a country song that'll never be written right there. But it should be. It's like
It's a weird, oddly specific. You know what? There's not a lot of Halloween themed
country songs.
No. What's that about? What's going on? We can have patriotic 4th of July for days.
Mm-hmm. You can't talk about a fucking Friday the 13th marathon on USA. USA, no less. I mean, you could tie it into
I do remember it was Halloween. I remember watching some Halloween. There was there would be a Halloween, and I remember watching, it was the first time I watched Halloween 2, and I really enjoyed. I'm like, I think I like this one better than the original. Mm-hmm. And it's just equally spooky. That one was not a console TV. That was just a big CRT standing on top of a table or something. I don't remember.
The other added image to that Friday the 13th marathon terror that I was going through was Zeke the plumber from Salute Your Shorts. Do you ever remember? Did you ever watch Salute Your Shorts?
Absolutely not. That was a Nickelodeon program?
Yeah, that was a cable. Yeah. So
I mean,
Zeke the plumber was this creation for a Halloween episode of this very kid-friendly show. All right.
Okay.
And they created one of the most terrifying fucking Halloween characters. I'll show you a picture of him.
Yeah,
here.
pull him up on the big screen here so I can really.
This was for
instead of looking at Brad Pitt's beautiful face. God, I love that guy.
This was a show, or this is like, that's what they put.
Oh, that's good. That's good.
This is a plumber that would put a plunger on your face and suffocate you. This was the folklore of camp and everything. And it's terrifying. And he sounded horrifying. Oh. Yeah, remembering the most traumatic episode of Salute Your Shorts. It was terrifying.
Put a plunger on your face.
It was horrible. It was absolutely horrible. And he had a creepy voice.
I'd love to hear his sound, but...
Let's see if I can find it here. This might be worth it.
That's interesting.
Oh, nightmares. Here we go. Oh, well.
Oh, you can, yeah, okay.
There we go.
Okay, watching.
We're going to do this.
We're going to watch this. There's a lot of movement to this camera for Salute Your Shorts.
They had a zoom.
No, that was a jib move.
Just Zeke the plumber.
You think that guy's still acting today?
Zeke or this kid?
No, this kid. Okay, hit me with the voice.
Friends call me Zeke.
Oh, that's not as creepy.
Smart kid.
Because he would sleep with a stuffed animal.
Hey, does this look familiar?
This is not creeping me out.
Hey, where'd you get him from?
Were you 9?
From inside your head.
No.
That's where you keep all the things you don't want anybody to know about.
You're not gonna tell anybody about this, are you?
Of course not.
So, I mean, if the kids at camp know I have a stuffed animal and I suck my thumb. I mean, I used to suck my thumb.
It's just that.
Attention, everybody.
It's that bandage.
Michael Stein sucks his thumb.
It's the bandage on his nose that it's really unsettling.
There's a story behind it too, is why he doesn't have a nose.
just got chopped off in some kind of freak plumbing accident. That's good.
See what else you have inside your head.
That's
This is terrifying as a child.
as a child. I remember it was a. It was a Are You Afraid of the Dark? And like kids could see like a different dimension. And there's like odd black figures walking around.
Mm-hmm.
And that I enjoyed that. Like I remember that freaking me out.
Yeah.
And still to that day, it's like, oh, I remember.
This is the thing where, to your point, like, it's because I was so terrified of that as a child.
Yeah.
Seeing that. And again, because no filters for watching television or like,
Of course not.
anything like that. That it's that terror. It's one of the first fear. It's like one of the first, I'm scared of something I just watched.
Sure.
And I'm trying to think too. There were things that would keep me up at night, but it was, I wonder how much of it was Zeke the plumber, honestly.
How much of it's just Zeke the plumber?
Just,
This is a guy in a weird rubber mask. I like me and my sister watching Night of the Living Dead. Not Sam Raimi. Not Sam Raimi. What's the guy's name? It's close
yeah.
to
it's
Sam
close.
Raimi. What's the guy's name? He was in the original. Anyhow, it doesn't fucking matter.
It doesn't matter.
It does matter because he's a beautiful.
I'll look it up.
Yeah.
close,
Anyhow,
so.
the guy who directed the remake in 1989. What was it? Yeah, 1999, 1989.
But go on with your thought.
Anyhow, we watched. It was just on
Mhm.
TV in the afternoon.
George A. Romero.
No, George A. Romero is the. I'm trying to remember the Tom Savini
Oh, Tom Savini. Okay, yeah, he's in.
is in the 1990. That's what it is. Yeah, we saw the remake in 1990, and it was very much a remake.
I don't know if
And
I've seen the remake, honestly.
It's enjoyable. I've rewatched it as an adult, and it's still good.
Tom Savini's he's in From Dusk Till Dawn.
Tom Savini is in From Dusk Till Dawn. So
You don't have to talk to me like I'm a fucking child, by the way.
I don't have to talk to you like you're a fucking child, by the way. Tom. Yeah. Like he did all of the makeup effects for them.
Mhm.
He's just in The Perks of Being a Wallflower. Who fucking knew?
Mr. Callahan.
I'll never watch that movie. Ever. Hold on. Click on that. Click on Perks of Being a Wallflower.
It's hard not to click on From Dusk Till Dawn.
No. Click on. No, hold on. Who's the other guy? Who's the other kid? Because he looks familiar from this distance. Ezra Miller. He's the Flash.
Oh, that's so cool.
Yeah. Who knew? Dylan McDermott. Who knew?
Who knew?
Anyhow, we watched Night of Living the Dead, the 1990 version,
Mm-hmm.
and that shit broke me. I mean,
Yeah.
like that's like why I loved zombies. Not loved, like I feared zombies.
Mm-hmm.
And like put a lot of thought into zombie preparedness and what to do during a zombie attack, how to deal with the zombies. It was the reasoning behind it.
I never have seen this. I don't
Yes,
think.
Tony Todd, the dude who is a Candyman.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because I mean, I've seen the original Night of the Living Dead.
Yeah.
And,
It's
fun.
I would say it's better, just because I think that George Romero hadn't honed down. Is that a different route? That's
it's a different Russo.
Russo.
That's why I wanted to check real quick.
Yeah.
A John Russo.
He's not related, is he?
Nepotism in Hollywood?
Nepotism,
No,
no.
that wouldn't exist. Are you a fan of From Dusk Till Dawn?
I didn't watch it until I was on a choir tour in college.
Would you show your children From Dusk Till Dawn?
No, just because I'd rather them watch Citizen Kane first.
Those are like hand in hand. Yeah. From Dusk Till Dawn is a movie that I might start later tonight and then just see how
I
far.
remember not loving it. I remember like people talking about how great it was.
It's one of my top 5 movies of all time.
And it just wasn't like it didn't hit home nearly as much. And I think it's just like me and Robert Rodriguez just
You don't gel?
we don't click nearly as much.
Really?
I recognize what he's doing.
Mm-hmm.
I understand what he's doing. we're just on just a little bit of a different wavelength.
So I remember, I know I've told you this before, but like this was one of the movies that my dad rented for me to,
You just had
get through the day.
Yeah.
No, like he was like,
Here you go.
yeah, here you go. I came home for lunch. Here's a movie I rented. All right.
And you watched it twice in a row.
Yeah, I watched it a lot.
Boobs.
And then I went probably 7 years without seeing it. And
Yeah.
in my friends in high school, I'm like, we were into horror films and everything like that. I'm like, guys, I'm going to overhype this movie. It's exactly what I did.
Classic.
Overhyped it. I'm like, this movie is amazing. Because I always loved the turn. It always seemed like it's like a bank heist movie.
Yeah.
It's like they're on the run. They're going to kidnap this family. You never see the vampires coming. You know, it's
Just all of a sudden, it's a light
all of a
switch.
sudden it's a turn.
It's a light switch.
And I love that. I was like, oh, it's all of a sudden it's a completely different movie. And I remember being in a room with most of my friends and like waiting for I'm watching. They've never seen it. I'm watching them watching it.
Yeah.
And as the turn comes, they're like, the fuck? Like, I actually think Christine was there. I think your wife was there. Yeah. And they're like, this is fucking stupid. Like, why the fucking vampires come out?
Yeah.
What the hell?
Because
I'm like, oh,
it's just like a weird,
I
like
love this movie.
a little bit more than a third act of.
It's talk about holding on a little bit too long. Like it held on to it, but I loved it. I loved the switch because they're so in control. George Clooney and Quentin Tarantino's characters, the Gecko brothers,
so cool.
They're everything
so cool. Even
and that's
keel.
stylized what they're trying to go for.
Yeah.
Like they're
Yeah.
like everything we do is right. And you're like, there's a great scene with
and
Harvey Keitel and his young Asian adopted son, and he's like, "No, you're his dad. You don't look Chinese." And he's like, "Neither does him. He looks Korean." And everything. Oh, excuse the hell out of me is what George Clooney says, and it was like, oh, that's such a good line. Like, but they're so stylish, and then they get thrown into a world of just
Pure chaos.
pure chaos. And then Juliette Lewis is awesome in it. They find one of my great, just little things that a movie can do is finding a room full of shit that you can use. Just finding that room full of ammo. Finding that room.
Big fan.
So
well, make it. I'm a fan of like.
Well, they found a room full of old like trucker stuff. Like it wasn't a room full of ammo. It was like a room full of condoms that they could fill with water. And then Harvey Keitel was an ex-preacher and he can like baptize it. It's brilliant shit like that.
I'm a fan of making something out of nothing. I mean, like that's like as far as like I love MacGyver and all that shit. And A-Team, they do that. I mean, that's what I love. But
well, that's the fun thing about From Dusk Till Dawn. Like they play on that. I think that's the whole point of that movie is they're playing on these things that
eventually.
Well, they're playing on like the, convict on the run theme. They're playing on the super cool. Everything I say is a one-liner kind of thing. I think it's more nuanced than people first viewing or watching it and seeing.
I'm gonna have to, because I watched it in college and I rewatched it as an adult, loosely. I'm trying to remember, but. I mean, I'll rewatch it, but there's something weird about like Rodriguez that we just don't click. I mean, between all of his El Mariachi stuff, does not click.
You're not a fan of Desperado?
Spy Kids, we don't click.
Yeah. Well, that was for his children.
I'm aware, and I've watched it with my children.
I
don't know.
I don't want to. I mean, I think he's a
You
great
can
filmmaker.
You can defend Rodriguez.
I'm not going to say like, do I like him as much as I like Quentin Tarantino? No. What was the Kurt Russell stuff that he did?
His was Planet Death, not Planet. I mean, Grindhouse is the movie. Quentin Tarantino's was Death Proof.
Death Proof.
His was
Planet Terror.
Planet Terror with Bruce Willis.
Right. Is it fair to say I enjoy their relationship? I enjoy how much they like working together.
Yeah, it's like Little Big and the Hatters, you know?
It is like Little Big and the Hatters. Yes, exactly. Because From Dusk Till Dawn is a great example. Robert Rodriguez came up with the story, directed it, but Quentin Tarantino wrote the screenplay for From Dusk Till Dawn.
Yeah.
So I think they make an amazing team. Like as far as if they could make more movies together, I think they I think they work very, very well.
I think I think they're good. I think he's good. It's just something about like he's on a different wavelength than I am, and I just cannot connect with him. And it's just.
But even like Desperado, you're not a fan of Desperado.
Yeah, between Desperado and El Mariachi and Once Upon a Time in Mexico, it just did not.
But I will say El Mariachi is its own thing. Desperado is its own thing, and Once Upon a Time in Mexico is its own thing. They are. They're. It's hard to. It's hard to couple all those movies
that's
together.
That's like you want to talk. Well, listen,
they're so far apart, and the budgets are so different.
I think it's the budget. It's an interesting. You know what? That's a fucking film thesis waiting to happen, and probably has already happened.
Yeah.
As far as
I'm surprised I didn't do it. Actually.
Like let's look at an example of a like foreign micro budget versus an American independent versus a
Hollywood blockbuster, and same director, same concept, same character, and what are we doing with what's the through line? That's an interesting thesis. Yeah, because the things that made El Mariachi great were again like the necessity is the mother of invention.
I love that.
But again, I still think Desperado had those elements that carried over. Obviously, there was more things you could do, but
was that
the general tone?
Was that Dimension or?
I'm pretty sure. Yeah, From Dusk Till Dawn was Dimension. Then I'd imagine Desperado was. But then when there was so much time in between all of those movies though too, where
not really, and not between.
El Mariachi.
El Mariachi was 92. Desperado was 95.
95, but then Once Upon a Time 2003.
03, yeah.
So you're dealing with a from Desperado to Once Upon a Time in Mexico. It goes to my point of saying like it's not the. It can't be. Don't lump it in with Desperado.
Well, I'm saying I'm lumping it in with from Desperado because it's the same character by the same director.
No.
Man, come on.
No. Here's what I'll say. This is a good analogy here. I'm going to say it's a good analogy right now.
I don't believe you.
El Mariachi is like a really good band's independent release, independent band's album that they put out. They get signed to a major label. Desperado is their first major label release. And it's like, yeah, okay, cool. They did it. And then 8 years later, after putting out other albums and everything like that, they put out an album that's kind of tangentially connected to their first big album. Yeah. And it's like, yeah, it's not as good, but it's, I'm listening to it anyway. And I don't think Once Upon a Time in Mexico is bad. But I don't think comparing it to Desperado or El Mariachi is fair.
It's different. I mean, it's different, but it's come on, hold on. It's the same dude. It's the same dude who wrote and directed it. Yeah, and it's the same character.
But
supposedly,
but you're approaching it as though it's bad, and I don't think it's bad.
I don't think it's bad. It's not. I don't click with it. It's not something. I am on that wavelength.
And then my question is that what's your thoughts on Desperado? Because Desperado,
it's a good movie. I mean, it's not something where I'm jerking off to it 5 times a week.
I mean, not everything can be the Lake House. I mean,
I don't know what I was gonna go with. It was probably the Rocketeer. I don't know.
Waterworld.
Listen, Waterworld.
And you think I have a Kevin Costner infatuation?
You do have a. I mean, I'd like as soon as I can watch The Postman on any streaming service, I will. Because I don't think. I think I watched it maybe on cable, and I watched it at a friend's house on VHS, and I watched it. I think maybe on cable in college. But I haven't seen it in a long time. I mean, I can tell you plot by plot, but
I'm just looking.
Yeah, you saw that Jetsons in 2010.
Did Robert Rodriguez do a Jetsons movie?
No, I don't think it happened.
Okay,
it's one of those
rightfully
things.
with Rose McGowan as Jane Jetson. Holy fucking shit! How did this not get made?
Well,
They don't want to do a live action.
Scroll down.
Live action Jetsons.
Oh, what was this? Hold on. What movies? What's the movies? Go up. Red 2? What the hell's this?
No, this is. I mean, she's
Red
playing
11?
Jane Jetson. That's from the
More
Jetsons.
like this Red 11. I don't know what that is.
Anyway,
Anyway.
apparently there was a Jetsons live action movie that was stalled.
Stalled and went into development hell. Yeah.
Probably rightfully so. Do we need a live action Jetsons?
I said the same thing about Scooby-Doo.
Well,
I had a bit about, it's like, these terrorists like sitting there and like holding people hostage and wanting to make a caliphate, and like we want to make a pure Muslim country that's, everything is like, why is nobody holding people hostage so that Scooby-Doo 2 doesn't get released?
those are the real things that we should be holding
It's like,
people hostage for.
is this really what we need right now? Is a remake of
Scooby-Doo.
I mean, what's a bad remake that's coming out? I heard somebody say something about whether or not it's true. I remember. Well,
They remade Point Break a while ago.
They did remake Point Break.
Which
So
didn't need to happen.
I remember in college somebody was talking about Cedric the Entertainer remaking the Dangerfield.
Rodney Dangerfield?
Rodney Dangerfield classic. Not How High. Graduate. What's the school one?
Oh, Back to School.
Back to School.
Okay.
I'm like Cedric the Entertainer. I'm like totally unnecessary.
Yeah, it is. It reminds me. It's funny. Rodney Dangerfield came up. I didn't. That's not his name. Rodney Dangerfield is not his name.
No, that's his stage name.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I had no idea.
Yeah, sure. I believe that.
I forget. I'm gonna look it up here.
What's his? I saw somebody post something about Will Smith and Kevin Hart remaking Planes, Trains, and Automobiles. This is like,
Well, again, going back to a
That's
new
unne-
original
that's
idea.
that's unnecessary. You know what's Planes, Trains, and Automobiles? You know what that really is? Is the Sandra Bullock, Ben Affleck movie, Forces of Nature.
Forces of Nature.
Is-
I've seen that at multiple grocery stores for sale for $5.
That is basically a romantic comedy version of Planes, Trains, and Automobiles. By the way,
Jacob Rodney Cohen or Jack Roy, actually. Sorry. Jack Roy, born Jacob Rodney Cohen.
so he changed his name twice.
Popularly known, yeah.
So he changed his name to Jack Roy.
Well, yeah.
I'm confused.
I'm confused as well, actually.
No.
Interesting. But that goes back to our initial conversation of original ideas and how tough it is to have an original idea and how much easier it is to just throw new people into the same trope and then see what happens.
Yeah.
The failed reboot of the vacation movies with Ed Helms. I mean, they wanted to redo that.
During that time, I was doing a movie review show, and I watched it. I went in with fairly skeptical, as far as like characters from The Office. Ed Helms was pretty down the line as far as people I liked.
Mm-hmm.
But I remember like enjoying it a lot more. The only thing I really did not like was Chevy Chase out of that remake
I
with
never saw it.
Vacation.
I
mean, it was like, it was okay.
Chevy Chase is also not his real name.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
What do you mean?
I think it's Cornelius. I think his first.
No.
Yeah, I think his first name is
Cornelius
yeah.
is a fun name. It's a fun name.
But with something like
But that was a continuation. I mean, so Ed Helms was playing Rusty.
Yeah, no, he was. It wasn't a direct remake.
No.
Oh, because I would think Cornelius Crane Chase is,
and Chevy Chase showed up as Chevy Chase.
okay. Oh, so he's playing. Okay, I got you. He's playing the son, Rusty.
Yeah.
But I still think my point here of if that was successful, they would have made all of those movies again. They would have remade Christmas, European, all that stuff.
Yes. Yeah.
And because why not?
Why not?
Yeah.
It's trouble. I mean,
first going back to the Will Smith, Kevin Hart, Planes, Trains, and Automobiles. No, I want to see Midnight Express with Will Smith and Kevin Hart.
I think I've seen that movie. That was with That was Robert De Niro and
Charles Grodin.
Charles Grodin.
It's good.
How much? Can we go ahead and just look up Charles Grodin's net worth real quick?
Time to play Celebrity Net Worth. Boom. Okay, so this person played the accountant. No, the accountant for a mob boss in the movie Midnight Express.
I think he actually does have some kind of like actual policy, like United States policy background. I want to say
Charles Grodin.
Yeah, and that's why he was like featured in the movie Dave.
He's I wouldn't put it past him. What's your guess? Well, hold on, what's your guess?
And then he was also best known probably as the dad
from Beethoven.
On Beethoven.
That's the third clue.
That's the third clue.
Yeah.
We've been workshopping Celebrity Net Worth, the game show, quite a bit.
Don't steal it.
I'm gonna say probably. I'm gonna say 17 million, Alex.
17 million. I've learned my lesson. I'm gonna go 9 million. I'm gonna go less than.
Oh. I just saw it.
12 million.
12 million.
I would have been closer.
You would, I mean, and under by Price is Right rules, if that's what we're going with.
Yeah. April 21st birthday. He's 85 years old. Charles Grodin's 85 years old.
I mean, when was the last time you saw Charles Grodin in a movie? Let's be honest here.
There's also this website we go to, celebritynetworth.com. They always give the weirdest related articles to Charles Grodin, or to anybody that we're going to.
Michael C. Hall,
the guy from Dexter, right?
Yeah.
And then
Tony Cox, I don't even know who that is.
He was in. I think he was the little person in Bad Santa.
Yeah.
So that
He's
guy,
the African American little person.
His race has nothing to do with
Bill
his
Nighy. Is that how you pronounce his name?
This guy from
Eamon Walker. Oh yeah, he was in Oz. Yeah. God, I love prison movies.
Prison TV series.
I just like watching people in prison.
Yeah. Jillian Jacobs. Like she's one. Like what?
There is a.
She's $5 million, by the way. So she's is nowhere near Charles Grodin. And
when's her birthday? Her birthday is October 19th, 1982.
She's 37 years old.
Me and Jillian Jacobs, we should hang out.
Why? Because you guys are 37?
We're within a year of each other.
Ooh. Wait, are you 37?
I am currently 37, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, we've got...
you got that going for you.
Yeah, I mean... Yeah, we've got 9 months between us.
You guys are both 5'4".
We're both 5'4". We've both been last updated our
in 2019
Celebrity Net Worth in 2019.
Yeah. Are you from America?
I am also from... Well, that's a real question. Where's Jillian Jacobs from? I just want to know more about Jillian Jacobs. Why hasn't she gotten more work? That's my question, besides she's just a basic white girl.
Well, she's on Love, right? Netflix's Love.
Have you ever watched a single
I've
episode?
never watched a single episode.
I've never watched a single episode of Love.
Not because of her, though, because of that kid on it. I just...
Oh, that's your dorky...
I don't need that. I don't need that in my life.
You just don't need that in your life.
No.
Charles Grodin is...
I have Michael Cera in my life. That's all I need.
That's all
for the weird dorky kid.
That's all the love you need.
Yeah, like I just root for him, and that's all I really need in my life. But yeah, Charles Grodin, $12 million.
Charles Grodin got old. Who knew? It's a funny thing. You see, like, people, it's like, you are not the same dad from... So, hold on. I got to do math here. When did Beethoven come out? 92?
Yeah, Beethoven's first.
The first Beethoven film, I believe, came out in 92.
That's a whole different game show.
So, what?
92. Yep, you're right.
God, I'm good.
And Bonnie Hunt. I forgot Bonnie Hunt was in it.
What's the age difference between Bonnie Hunt
and
Charles Grodin?
Oh, I didn't know John Hughes wrote that. Oh, that's
that was John Hughes. That was a John...
As Edmond Dantes.
Yes. Are you not familiar with this?
I'm not familiar with... What is this? What is this?
John Hughes, for some reason, later in his career, like, he wrote a string of family movies as Edmond Dantes.
Because people
'Cause
were...
it's different. Like, it's not his. Let's see here. I think you're better off just going to IMDb and just looking at his shit, because it will say literally Edmond Dantes. He wrote a weird string of movies. Edmond Dantes.
Oh, I forgot he died.
Oh no, he's dead. He also wrote Planes, Trains, and Automobiles, by the way. BT
The
Dubs.
man's an American treasure, for sure.
I guess he's an asshole. He was an asshole as well. I don't know. Hold
Sure.
on. Just go to his IMDb page. I mean, like, this is like his trivia.
The premiere episode of Community is dedicated to John Hughes.
Yeah,
Interesting.
because he's dead. That was about when he died, right?
2009.
Yeah.
Da.
What are you doing? Just go to his fucking writing credits.
There, boom. Use pen name Edmond Dantes as an homage to the lead character of The Count of Monte Cristo.
Yeah.
Okay. I was hoping for more of a story.
Why he would... Oh. No. Okay. But go back to, like, what other movies did he write under the pen name Edmond Dantes? That's the real question. And it was...
Made in Manhattan. The Story.
Let's see here. Beethoven's Third. Hold on. Characters.
Drill Bit Taylor. These are
there
the
we go.
stories.
Drillbit Taylor.
Beethoven's Fifth.
Well, no, that's characters. Dun, 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 dun.
Beethoven's Second.
There's a couple other
Beethoven.
ones.
There was an Uncle Buck TV show. I was unaware of that.
Yeah.
Wait, did John Candy star?
No. It was... Who was it? Kevin Meaney? Was that a real person? Kevin Meaney?
Wow. I don't know if you can make Uncle Buck into a TV show.
Yeah, what are you talking about? Come on.
These are a lot of... This is basically Beethoven that he wrote as Edmond Dantes.
Let's see here. Hold on. Made in Manhattan.
I already said that. Yep.
Oh, you did? I
Yep.
didn't hear that.
And Drill Bit Taylor.
And
The movie
Drillbit-
that made
Drillbit.
Owen Wilson want to kill himself.
And that's the one. There's I thought there was one more.
Beethoven's Treasure Trove. It's anything Beethoven, honestly.
Oh, that's all characters. That's characters.
No, I'm saying like
man-
he's the first time it appears is Beethoven.
Yeah.
And then Beethoven's second. He's written Home Alone 2, Lost in New York as himself.
Yeah.
Dennis the Menace.
Dennis the Menace.
He wrote as John Hughes. God, that
Miracle
guy.
on 34th Street.
That guy had like a
101
Ken
Dalmatians.
Burns style, just
Flubber.
blank check.
Yep.
Of just whatever you give us, we will produce.
Can you remember could remind me what Just Visiting is? What was that movie?
He wrote a screenplay from 101 Dalmatians. I had
Sure
no
did.
idea.
Cash that fucking. Oh, with Jean Reno and Christina Applegate? Yeah. Are you familiar with this one?
No, I'm not familiar with this one.
Out of nowhere, Jean Reno, of like a French Crusader,
Yeah.
pops up in Manhattan.
The Lolita, is he in?
It's the
The Professional. That's what it is. Leon the Professional.
is the French title.
Yes.
Leon.
Oh, Tara Reid's in that movie.
No shit.
Not the one that Joe Biden assaulted.
As Angelina, that got dropped. Malcolm McDowell was in this as well. Sorry.
You want to get really political?
Let's just get
At the end of the podcast here?
very, very political about. There's some weird things that have just like been dropped from.
Well, that's a weird thing that's been dropped. I mean, first off, the fact that she shares her name with Tara Reid, the actress.
That's number one.
That's number one.
Also, that currently Joe Biden's running mate said, I believe her. I believe this woman that.
She said that about Tara Reid?
Yes. If you want to take that as I'm in the heat of a political campaign and I'm going to take that for what it is.
Well, I think all that stuff came out after she had already dropped out of the race.
I think it was about the same time.
I think she had, I mean, whether she had said that she believes her, I mean, that was.
She has said.
I'm saying, like, she
Yeah.
also, I don't think she was running when this Tara Reid stuff came out.
It was close because it was.
She dropped out relatively early compared to.
It was before the Iowa caucuses that she dropped out,
Yeah.
which is super weird.
But anyway, it's,
Anyhow.
yeah, it's a weird thing to drop. It's a weird thing
Yeah.
to drop, especially in this day and age.
You know what else is weird? You ready for this? I'm gonna blow your mind a little bit.
What?
Russian bounties on American soldiers. Why did that go? Where'd that go?
Yeah, go on. I haven't heard about this.
Oh,
I haven't watched the news since March.
there was a story that came out that Russia was putting bounties on American soldiers in Afghanistan.
Interesting.
And it's not like 100% confirmed. It was just kind of a source of a source of a source
Mm-hmm.
said it. And then it blew up. And it was going to be like, how dare you? Oh my God. Pearls clutching Donald Trump.
Yeah.
How dare you? You care more about,
Political affiliations.
Russian soldiers than you do about American soldiers. And it's
Interesting.
not a fucking peep. Nobody cares.
Yeah.
Now, is it true? Is it true?
That's the thing about it. Is it true?
That it?
How
it's
can
been,
you prove that?
That's been swept under the rug and it's just gotten overwashed as far as like, just lost in the news of coronavirus and U.S. Postal Service getting shut down. Is that? I mean, or is it? It didn't have a leg to stand on, so it just kind of went away.
Right. Well, it did come out that that the original Russia investigation came from the Clinton headquarters as a way to
not the Clinton headquarters, but like a
political operatives within the Clinton campaign to combat any Republican accusations that they would put out.
There's been no evidence at all that Russia hacked Hillary's emails.
No. But I'm saying like the only reason why the investigation started was because they were doing preemptive striking. Like,
right.
We're going to try to get an answer to this question before the question's posed to us.
The idea that,
and then that's when they found out everything from
idea that Donald Trump pissed on a bed came from like a bellhop.
No, that Donald Trump had a hooker peed on the bed.
Yes.
On the bed.
That Obama slept in.
Yeah.
Like that was just like,
did you see?
Hey, can you imagine if he did this?
Yeah.
And just like that kind of bullshit rumor shit. And it's nuts. I mean,
did you see the CBS? There was a CBS show that aired on their online platform, their CBS All Access platform, where they basically made that the storyline of the show of someone had the P tape and everything like that. It was like a CSI type show.
Oh yeah.
And it was only on their online service, so it didn't air.
Was it under the what's the Good Wife, The Good Fight?
Yeah, it might have been The Good Wife.
The Good Fight. So The Good Fight is the spinoff of The Good Wife.
I can't remember what show it was, but there was a storyline of someone had the. It might have been the not The Good Wife. What's the one with Taya Leone?
I have no idea.
Fuck. Hold on.
What's Taya Leone up to?
She's on a show on CBS.
Yeah. Just search
there it is. It's
just search
EO.
for The Naked Truth. That's what I always do when I'm looking for Taya Leone.
I figured it out. Madam Secretary. It was the show Madam Secretary. Yeah. So they had a whole episode dedicated to someone finding a maid at the Russian hotel found the P tape for some reason and everything like that, and they basically turned fiction into reality. And
super weird.
Yeah, it's
also weird. Like nobody's talked about Sumner Redstone dying.
What's that?
Sumner Redstone. He is the.
I thought you said Summer Redstone.
Sumner.
Okay.
He was the executive who owned CBS Paramount.
Okay.
And there's been a long battle of like him and his mistress and his daughters about who controls CBS Viacom. And the only person I've ever heard anything about it was like on Marketplace. It was super fucking weird. I'm like, really?
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't mentioned on a couple of the Hollywood shows. The trades podcast that I listen to. It's just like, oh, really? Yeah. I don't know.
It's weird, but at the end of the day,
I mean, this could be a podcast.
I mean, yeah. If we wanted it to be. If we stop it right now. This could be a podcast.
Like right now?
Right now. This could be a podcast.
Oh, fuck.